Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. What's up, everybody?
Hey,
Good morning.
how's it going?
It's going.
Get some new members, Paul.
Yeah, I turned the membership thing on so people can ask questions. I've been doing these live Q&As so they get priority asking questions. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm back to kind of living like a bodybuilder. I've been what am I 3 weeks into back eating like a bodybuilder again. Got my clear protein, and I had my Ezekiel bread and peanut butter sandwich before the show. That's one of my meals I'm doing every day. It's a good way to get some. I get the cinnamon raisin Ezekiel bread.
Oh, it's so good.
And I toast it, and I put almond butter on it, and then I'll have my clear protein with it, which is a good. It's almost like I'm cheating.
Nice.
I up my gear. What's that?
What is clear protein?
If you look at it, I don't know if you can see it on here, but it's
Like fruity kind of, I guess you'd.
Well, it has all the basically they take the whey and they just it's a ultra purified whey that has none of the really the dairy left in it. You know, even whey isolate's still creamy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like almost like drinking Crystal Light. It is a very light. It's the only protein that doesn't fuck up my stomach.
Yeah, my wife swears by it, like the clear protein.
And it is expensive as shit.
It is.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are more like kind of fruit, like refresher kind of flavors, right? Like you said, they're not really like chocolate.
Yeah, this one I got is pineapple watermelon, I think. It's really good. Yeah, it's really good, and it goes down easy, and I just sip on it. I would imagine since it's ultra processed, it's going to absorb super quickly, so you don't want to hammer it quickly or it's going to be in and out of you, so I just sip on it. I have a hard time getting the food down now with the GLP-1, so I kind of like to do things that are easy to get down, and this goes down super easy.
Does it have
a lot of the clear? Go ahead, Dave.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I'm not too familiar with the clear. I've tasted them at the Arnold, different samples, but they have all the amino acids, everything that you get.
Yeah, it's full. It's just an ultra. It's it's like a step above hydrolyzed whey. Like hydrolyzed whey was the most filtered you could get, but the hydrolyzed whey tastes like kerosene. It's just fucking. Oh my god, it tastes awful. Even when that still upset my stomach. I think some people just have sensitivities to whey, period. But for whatever reason, this you can't really see it, but there are a couple little chunks. You can see a couple little chunks floating of the whey in it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's ultra purified and it's just a new filtration process. It's like the most filtered way of delivering whey at this point. And so if you have stomach issues, it's the only one I found. My buddy Dante Trudell over at True Nutrition, I appreciate him, man. He sent me like every single type of protein they had, and he's like, "Look, we're gonna figure this out, man." Yeah. And the pea protein didn't bother me, but goddamn, it tastes awful.
It's gritty.
It's like chalky. I just couldn't get past the texture. And then he sent me some beef protein, which also did not bother me, but tastes terrible. You can taste it almost has like a gamey taste to it, even when it's flavored.
See, the beef protein doesn't bother me, but I have a pretty high tolerance for unusual tasting food, so that wouldn't bother me.
This is the lady that puts peanut butter on her or almond butter on her rice.
Mic is on.
No.
Yeah, you're
very
having a hard time hearing you today, bud. Oh, there's Tanya. Anyway, so I did that, and then I actually upped my gear this week. I was looking back through my cycle records. I have not been on a real cycle since 2024.
Wow. So what's the cycle now?
I was doing 300 tests. Well, so I don't. I mean, how much you would say this? It's not a lot. 125 tests, 50 milligrams of Primo every other day. That's what I'm running right now, and I'm running 8 units of GH every other day, as well.
Okay. So moderate, a moderate cycle.
I would call that bodybuilding cruise, is what some people call it. But I know guys that cruise on. I was talking to one pro recently. he's like, I'm worried about losing size, but yeah, his cruise was more than I'm on.
Now, Paul, do you do pretty good with that amount of Primo for your estrogen, or do you have to put in an AI at a certain point?
No, I have flipped full circle, man. I used to be a high estrogen converter when I was young, and now I'm the other way. My estrogen gets smashed super easily. I guess because I carry more muscle and I'm leaner than I was when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but it's like my body is completely. I can't run equipoise at any dose without my estrogen being completely nuked.
Well, like some of that is got to be age related, Paul, because I've a very similar experience.
Yeah, Primo, I would say I'm keeping the ratio a little lower right now. I don't know, around 40 to 50% right now seems to be good for me for getting my estrogen like right in the top end of the reference range. I don't know when last time I had blood work done, but I don't even need blood work to know when my estrogen's out of whack. I'll know when it's too high. My soldier only salutes at 3/4. So, and when it's low, my joints start hurting really bad.
You know, I think you're right too, Mike. I think as we get older, you know, a little bit of how we respond does change too, because I can definitely contribute that. I mentioned you guys before, whenever I do 19 NORs, but mainly Nandrolone, I would get some anxiety at a certain dosage. And I found out that I could cut it back and still get benefits from the NPP and avoid the anxiety kind of sensation. But now it's right at that low dose starting to creep back up on me. So I'm kind of wondering if I'm even more sensitive than I was once before, because the overall drug load is lower anyhow than last time. It's interesting because I used to be once I get past 350, 400 milligrams of Nandrolone, that's when I'd start feeling the anxiety. Now I'm around 200 and it's starting to creep back in where I'm just telling myself I'm going to get rid of it.
I think everybody I've talked to has that same experience with Nandrolone. It's like the longer they use it, the older they get, the more they have to be cautious with it. I mean, I ran tons of DECA. I did a lot of DECA only cycles actually when I was younger, which was fucking.
Did you
crazy.
use estradiol with that, or did you just run it? You just ran it by itself?
I just ran it by myself. My estrogen was super fucking high always.
No kidding. Great.
Yeah, I used to run a lot of DECA only cycles. I used to do DECA. And when Dr. Todd was training me, I'd be doing these crazy ass DECA, Tren, Anavar cycles. That's what he liked back in the day. And I did that, and I remember like I had no fucking sex drive on that shit, man. It was terrible. But I did grow. I definitely grew. But it's not my preference to feel like that. But I mean, before I actually connected with him, I used to run a lot of DECA. There was a lot of people that followed Mike Mentzer and that crowd back in the day, the HIT training crowd. A lot of those guys were just DECA and D-ball, no tests. That's what they would run. And I used to do those cycles, and then I wonder why I ended up with gyno.
I can't help but think like the more people use the 19 NORs, I wonder if it's just a cumulative mental damage effect or something. Maybe
possibly. I mean, it does have, you know, synthetic progestins do weird things to the brain and shit. You know, that it can really affect dopamine, and you know, you have you know, I mean, it suppresses dopamine, and you just get things just get all out of whack. I think, look, I think that, and Ryan's talked about it, but I think they definitely are. It could be of a benefit at a lower dose. I think it's the doses where you get yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
It's the person too. It's just individual specific. Like I certain unequivocally, no doubt about it. I have some people who it's like the magic bullet to their protocol. And this is therapeutic doses. I'm not talking about huge doses, right? But some people, even at very small doses, get some mental side effects, right? And when they stop it, the mental side effects go away, so everything's fine. But I certainly have a growing number of people who don't quite feel all the benefits from just testosterone, and we add in just a little bit of nandrolone, like 60 to 100 milligrams, and it's just like a game changer for them. And, I'm just seeing it more and more.
I'll say this. I still swear by it. I don't think anything ever put size on me like nandrolone did. But I just every time I convince myself that I can run it, and I'll start dabbling with it again. Like after my surgery, I just tried a really low dose of MPP. I'm talking about like 30 milligrams every other day. And it just absolutely, I just my anxiety was through the fucking roof, man.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do this.
But you could handle it when you were younger?
I would run it. I'm not shitting you. I used to run a gram of Deca.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
It's really interesting how we change. I see that too. Like as people age, they just can't, things just change. They can't handle some of the things
Well, I mean, I can't drink tequila anymore either. So there's that.
Well, not with that attitude.
I can't do as much cocaine as I used to either.
I honestly feel like I could tolerate Tren better than I can Deca at this point.
Wow.
Yeah, like I feel like a low dose Tren I could probably get away with.
Yeah.
The Tren, I've talked to Kurt about it. I wish he was on, but it feels like the side effects from Tren also get amplified when you're in a caloric deficit. When you're in a surplus, they don't seem to be as bad or pronounced.
Well, it just kind of makes sense too. You're, edgy from being a little bit depleted of, carbs and also calories in general. We all get agitated. Then you throw some fuel to the fire with Tren. Yeah, that sounds like me getting even more edgy when you're dieting versus off season. That's not there. You're a little more pleasant.
So what I'm saying is maybe I need to run Tren for the Arnold.
More fun in the off season. Way more fun.
I can't imagine
You
anything
started
more
training a
fun.
couple weeks ago, Paul.
What's that?
You should have started a couple weeks ago. It's a little late. Arnold's like 10 days away.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't imagine anything more fun than being like high dose Tren and then throw you into a convention center where you're surrounded with people, you have anxiety, and they're all on top of you and you can't move. That's gonna be amazing.
No, yeah, you give Tren to your bodyguards at the center.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. At that point you need bodyguards to keep everybody away from you.
Yeah, I've also noticed it seems like if you run SSRIs, you can't fuck with 19 Nors. It's like just a bad combination.
Yeah. Well, nandrolone decreases your ability to make serotonin and also plays with your dopamine receptors. So your SSRIs are going to do similar things.
Yeah.
So the scientific evidence or the studies that I've recently read in my research talk about changes in the amygdala and thinning of the prefrontal cortex of the brain for prolonged use of, in particular, things like Nor-19s. And so that has significant changes in not only our cognitive function, but also in our emotional reaction to things, So things like having high anxiety are more due to the thinning of the prefrontal cortex, using it over time. These were studies that were conducted on long-term AAS users.
Yeah, just look at the guys. Mike Mentzer absolutely lost his mind, but he was also a meth addict and probably had some pre-existing mental illness. So I would say if you're somebody who's already predisposed to mental illness and anxiety and things like that, I would proceed with caution. And what once again, we know in toxicology the poison is in the dose, compound choice, and duration. It's all three are part of the equation. So at lower doses, it's probably fine.
Yeah, I'd love to see those, Mike. If you can send me some of those studies, that'd be great.
You know, actually,
I
I
wanna-
got a video that I'm editing right now that I'll send you a link to when it comes out. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. I want to, Amy, let's grab these paid questions as they come in. So I make sure I get these people.
Yes, from Brian Lafarve, 5020. Paul, what are your thoughts on Mastron in a cut? I'm 18% body fat, trying to hit 10%.
I mean, it's fine. It's not going to help you burn fat if that's what you're looking for. I mean, it's just another anabolic you're throwing in the equation. I would say, a caloric deficit, some cardio, whatever secondary anabolic that you tolerate well is probably going to be good. I do prefer Primo or Masteron when I'm cutting, just because of how it affects water retention. When you're using something, we'll go back to the DECA example, that makes you hold a little more water, it's really hard to assess body composition, right? It's that's the problem I run into. The traditional bodybuilding approach is not to run DECA on contest prep. I almost think you probably could, but it's just really hard because of the mineral retention that it causes. It's really, really hard to assess what body composition is. So we want that dry, hard look. It's fine. I mean, it's just something. It's an adjunct to your core hormones, your testosterone, your HGH, and then I would say layer on top of it whatever gets the job done and you tolerate well. But it's not going to burn fat if that's your objective. It's not going to have any impact on that.
Yeah, there's no metabolic effect. That wouldn't be the reason for taking it.
I mean, it might have a really modest, any androgen's going to have a modest impact on metabolism, but it's going to be pretty insignificant.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a little laid out, 18%. I mean, I kind of agree. You're not going to see a whole lot of that cosmetic effect till you're dug down a little deeper. But there could be a good use for it if you're looking for milligrams that agree with your body and you're familiar with Masteron, and just maybe you're going at a fast pace of body fat loss and you're trying to hold on to as much muscle as possible. I mean, there's a good use for, if Masteron's the next milligrams I need to put in that agrees with me rather than testosterone or whatnot, that might be one reason to put it in. But it's not going to make your cut any more aggressive. That's going to be through your diet and cardio and expenditure.
I only use it on contest prep. I don't use it any other time of the year, and I save it for the last half when I get leaner, because it does dry me out really well.
Yeah.
And like when I get down to like that last 8 weeks of a cut, when I'm, I'd say sub 10% body fat, and I want to see where I'm really at, like where my body composition is at, I will run things like that are going to, lessen mineral and fluid retention, so I can see what my body composition looks like. And I think that's why people think it makes you. Primo kind of does the same thing. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like Masteron does dry you out better than Primo does.
I'd agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I was always confused, people running it really deep into their off seasons too. I mean, to strip yourself of some of the minerals you need while you're trying to grow and retain, glycogen load, doesn't see, and then you also, I do notice quite a bit of, achy joints on it, regardless of my body fat composition or where I am in a prep.
Yeah, it definitely makes me creaky.
Yeah.
It drives me out really bad. Well, it's because it seems to suppress collagen synthesis. So I mean, so does Winstrol. It seems, and that's why you'll see dudes that, no offense to the guys that run Masteron year round, but they end up getting that really weathered look, like the lady that smokes too much cigarettes and drinks martinis every evening after work. You know what I'm talking about, man? They get like that fucking dried out, look like a leather pocketbook or prune that's been sitting in the sun.
Oh, no. The people that live in the tanning booths.
Yeah.
Those people.
Yeah.
That's what they look
Yeah,
like.
they look 10 years older than what they are. And the guys that run it, and this is not meant as a slight to John Jewett or anything. I know John really likes Masteron. And I've talked to John. John said he'd have a preference for Primo if it was easily accessible and cheap. But the guys that are having success in their off season with running Masteron are running super high doses of testosterone. So I mean, you can get away with what the fuck ever, right? As your secondary compound if you're running 3 grams. I think John recently acknowledged that he was taking 3 grams of testosterone a week.
Wow.
That'll get the job done.
Yeah.
Well, and that's another thing with we're coming to an end of the shortage, I think, but it still Primo seems to be a little bit more accessible to people than Masteron at this point.
Yeah, you can get Masteron Prep. It's out there. And look, I think people think I'm a Masteron hater. I'm not a Masteron hater at all. I use it. I've used it quite a bit. I like deploying it on contest prep and on cutting phases. I think it has a utility. I just don't think it's. I think there are better choices when you're trying to put on size. I mean, hell, fucking Deca is better choice in the off season.
Yeah, if it's tolerable.
If you can tolerate it, yeah.
You know, one thought for that fellow there in the cut for the 18% body fat, if he hasn't leveraged growth hormone, you know, that's a way to stay
Yep.
anabolic.
I didn't
you know,
even think about that.
You know, and get some lipolysis as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. Might even improve other factors, which is weird because some people I'm starting to hear more and more that growth hormone interrupts some people's sleep, which is not always what I used to hear.
Not the case with me.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
neither, but I do hear it enough, and I'd imagine you guys have with some of your clients saying
Yep.
that
Everybody's
it's
different.
interrupted their sleep.
Every time I tried, 2 to 3 hours after I fall asleep, I snap awake, and I can repeat it. I can repeat that experiment anytime. It's crazy, and it just snaps awake. Then my sleep's broken.
Mhm.
You know. So I just do it early in the morning, fasted. First thing when I wake up, just and go and be done.
I wish growth hormone did anything to my sleep. I don't get any of those benefits.
Yeah.
Up the goats.
Over or under 10 units.
Well, I just
The way
want to
my
see
bank
what,
account is set up.
Oh.
I wanted to see what our friend Chat GPT said. That they said in some people, when you inject growth hormone, blood GH levels rise outside the natural pulse. The brain senses the elevated IGF-1 and GH that suppresses GH-RH, which alters somatostatin balance and affects deep sleep, triggered by
There we go.
that. In some people,
There we go.
you can counteract this with GABA to a certain degree.
Progesterone.
Exogenous GH can also affect dopaminergic tone. I'm in sympathetic nervous system activity. It definitely can stimulate sympathetic. I'm the opposite, man. When I was splitting the doses up and taking half in the morning, I was sitting in my desk like this.
Not enough. Yeah.
Man, I haven't fallen asleep accidentally ever in my adult life.
Well,
Give it time. We're
Yeah.
very old.
you'll get there. Yeah.
You just need to eat more carbs, Tanya. That'll do it.
Just need more growth hormone in the morning.
Yep.
Cut 10
I
units.
have with here's the big Paul bingo card people can punch, but with being diabetic, I can tell now when my blood sugar is high. Like I when I start getting tired and feeling that like cloudy, like I need to go to bed right now. That's high glucose.
We need some sound effects, Amy, so that every time he says diabetic, you can go ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Punch your bingo card.
Or trend. Trend could be another where we have another noise for.
Yeah.
And people
we
were
go
making
off all
fun of
the
me. People were making fun of me about the diabetic thing, and I take a joke and embrace it and weaponize it. just go. Just make it part of the routine.
Somebody mentioned GHB on here. I just read an article that GHB was intentionally, they led a fear-based campaign intentionally against GHB. None of the facts actually kind of checked out to where it should be considered dangerous, and they eventually made it a Schedule I controlled substance. And there's nothing that should have made it there that way. And it's better than any sleep medication on the market. And it really puts people into deep REM sleep, and it got like conflated with Ruhifnol, and it doesn't do what Ruhifnol does. It's a different drug and doesn't affect you as seriously as
Roofies. For
So,
those
yeah.
of you
So
No.
it's like it's weird. Like, you know, as we study the medical community and the kind of the way the FDA used to work, like we're starting to uncover more and more of these situations. Like, why were some of these drugs so? Why was fear mongering used to eradicate some of these drugs that were actually very beneficial? You see it more and more. I think from the article I read, GHB was one of those.
I would love to
Well,
try GHB. That's the only one that I haven't tried.
I would be careful. Just the thought, you know, coming from me of there's physical dependence and mental dependence too. You know, and
Oh.
people that even if there's no physical dependence, when you kind of mentally rely on something for sleep, especially your sleep, that it becomes quite a crutch that you kind of need. So I'd just be careful of that. You know, try to use it maybe spot checkingly the best you
Yeah,
can.
and I agree with that. But have you ever seen Seroquel? People who normally have sleep, they put them on Seroquel. Seroquel is an awful drug.
Yeah.
And anybody who has
Yes,
like
it is an
chronic
awful
sleep
drug.
issues, they put them on Seroquel, and I mean, it can honestly wreck people's lives. And
Seroquel is an antipsychotic. The doctors
Yes.
prescribing that
Oh,
for
wow.
sleep is insane.
Yeah, it's something you'd inject with somebody that you have to put to sleep.
Yeah. So
It is
I would say
gone,
GHB
gone.
would be better than Seroquel. But yeah, I mean, your point is well taken, Dave.
Yeah, and just I mean, I guess try to pull all the levers you can,
Yeah.
like you would with anything else. You try to
Yeah.
pull the low hanging fruit first and see if where that gets you, and you might actually
Because that's
find
gonna
it more effective
because-
too.
Yeah, and once you clear out that low hanging fruit, like whatever you do end up using, you're not going to need as much of it.
Yeah. Well, I can say for myself, I've struggled with quality sleep for quite a handful of years, and it's usually something that I can back off on that I introduced, and that doesn't have to mean a drug. It might just mean a habit or when I'm eating or little things like working too late. You know, if I shut my computer off and try to go right to bed, I'm still mentally engaged. So like little levers you can pull first is always it's going to be cheaper. It's probably going to be healthier, and it might just cause a perfect answer to the problem.
The last 2 hours you spend awake of the day can totally reshape your sleep.
I
Yeah.
The habits that
completely
you
agree.
make in the last couple hours of the day.
Mhm.
So you always see
What if
Tanya
I-
wearing the blue blockers.
What if I
Yeah.
spend my last 2
Other
hours
than this
watching,
podcast.
watching YouTube videos? That's what I do my last 2 hours.
So ironically enough, I've got YouTube on like almost 24 hours a day. But when I go
Yeah,
to
me too.
sleep, I listen to these real like low monotone voice history.
That's what I do. The history to
podcasts.
fall asleep to.
Oh
Mhm.
man, I sleep like a baby with that going in my ear.
That's
I
what I
listen to
do.
lullabies and they crash me out. It's great.
There's a channel called History to Fall Asleep to and Philosophy to Fall Asleep to, and I do.
Oh
both.
wow, that second one sounds like perfect.
It sounds very boring.
There's been some. I don't want to name names, but there's been some. I don't like to get involved in the drama, but there's been some back and forth with some coaches and stuff on Instagram lately. I just sit back with my popcorn and watch this shit. There's a fairly popular coach on Instagram who created another account and is using it to attack like higher level guys like Milos and some of the higher level coaches. But the clout chasing stuff always fascinates me.
Mm.
There's some people that clearly use it as a tactic where they go after people that have a higher social standing than they do, and they try to elevate themselves by attacking. There's really nothing. I don't know, but it's bizarre to me. And it was watching Milos interact with this guy. He just kept responding to him with clown emojis. It was hilarious.
Smoke
Well, that's how
never
they try
comes
to put
from
them.
above.
Yeah, that's where they try to put themselves. That's their tactic to put themselves on the same level as the person they're trying to, put down.
Well, they're trying to
know.
bait you into a response. The best thing to do is just block them and just pretend like they don't exist.
I don't know where people get all this extra time to mess around with people.
Remember when media wasn't a two-way street?
I make the time, Dave.
Yes.
I make the time.
Josh is the king of the trolls.
He has an incredible knack for being like terribly offensive in the most adorable way. Like he goes just to the edge of you wanting to choke him.
I have taken many shots to the throat, so that I've kind of, modified myself over the years.
Like you could be offended if it wasn't so damn funny.
Yeah.
Yes. I grew up with 6 brothers, so,
But it's kind of
Like-
sad, man, that the negative stuff does get more views. I mean, I did a little social experiment back in last fall when I was flying up to Dave's. I was just bored at the airport and was fucking around, and I did 2 diet posts, one framed positively and one framed negatively, and it was the same topic, but and this wasn't even calling people out. And the one that was framed negatively got 3 times the views.
Wow.
And it was something like 6 times the interaction of the one that was framed positively.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're always going to slow
Sometimes
down
you
to look
don't
at the
know.
wreck.
Yeah.
What you did though, I was trying to record a Arnold prediction video this week and found out that Martin Fitzwater blocked me.
Oh,
And I've never said a bad thing about Martin ever. Like I've always been a big fan. Like he.
Do you wanna start now?
Show I went to, so I was pretty shocked. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
is Martin
black.
the person? Is he the one who was talking about that all bodybuilding media is negative or
Yeah.
something like that?
Hmm.
That's
Yep,
it.
that's
Okay.
him. Yeah.
Okay. Your media,
Yeah, and-
Amy.
He has a
Now,
short.
I'm
fuse.
curious. Did he block me? Let's see.
Yeah, no, I was was talking about who I had in my top 5, and I clicked on him to show him, and yeah, I'm.
Did you leave it in the video? Did you leave it in the
No,
video?
I did leave
That
it in
sounds
the
amazing.
video.
Oh, okay. So we'll see you like Monday or something.
Oh, well,
Oh,
can we
that's
see that
sad.
Monday? That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
I have not been blocked, so
Oh,
clearly you did
I'm
something.
like, what did
Amy.
I do?
You were
I
too
prob-
pretty.
I
He couldn't have
probably
you on
said
his.
really good
you know,
things
that's all.
about him.
Jeez.
But I mean, honestly, I do think Martin has a chance of being in the even maybe 3rd. I mean, I think he could do really well at the
What-
Arnold. I think he just.
You know what we call that, Amy? That's Tran on contest prep.
Yeah. It's like her, block her.
Yeah, her
She's
in
saying nice
particular.
things, but I know what she really means.
I know what she really
Like she
means.
says, I look great. Don't believe
Yeah.
that.
Well,
The thing you
it's-
never know about social media though is he could have just pocket blocked you. Like it could have been completely unintentional.
Yeah, maybe. I doubt it, but maybe. He
Nah,
seems
we-
like a very intentional
was-
person.
Probably something said on our podcast in the past that upset. I don't know.
I tried.
I mean,
I
I
was
love
thinking
Martin.
back, I'm like, have I ever said anything bad about him? I don't.
Can you
Oh
bring
my
up a
gosh,
picture
I
of this guy?
did.
'Cause I have no idea who he is.
I know
What'd you
what it
say,
was.
Amy?
I was talking about him sweating too much on stage and kind of like losing his mind when he was posing against Chris. I bet that's what it was. I
Oh,
did say
God.
that.
Oh, there you go.
That was just a couple
Too
weeks
sweaty.
ago too that we were having that conversation.
Yep. Yeah.
Too sweaty.
Well, I didn't get blocked, so clearly you're the one that
Yeah.
It was me. I was the one who said it.
it's all
Can
your
you pull him up though? I mean, how is he looking?
fault. I mean, he
Yeah,
looks-
pull him up.
it's
I
kinda
tried. I
sad.
couldn't.
It's kind of sad because all you're doing is providing your opinion on a topic we all want to talk about, and then we all know you, Amy. We know you're not going to say things, maliciously by any means. So
He doesn't really have any recent progress pictures up.
It looks like February 9th was the last time I see anything with him without his shirt.
maybe
Yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot up. I mean, I get it, man. There's a lot of fucking negativity, man. And it drives me nuts too. I really try not to be negative. I mean, but at the same time, you have to comment on some of this stuff. Like it is what we do. I don't know that I view myself as bodybuilding media. I try to be an educator and entertainer first and foremost. And I do like to talk about bodybuilding here and there, but yeah, people, I don't know. I mean, some
He was
guys are
getting
too
blocked
sensitive.
next.
Tina,
Look,
Tina,
in
you're
trouble?
blocked now.
Fucking Tina in trouble.
This guy-
Tina brought up a controversial topic as well. She brought up Hottie getting dropped from Evagen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I heard that was false, though. I mean, I heard
Really?
Nick's Strength and Power, he was reporting on it, and while he's reporting on it, he got a text from somebody saying this is complete nonsense that he didn't get dropped. I think he got dropped by Evogen Iran, not necessarily Evogen, the mother company.
Ah,
I'm not too sure if anything else has developed since that.
Yeah, Fuad and Behind the Stage both said that he was dropped, but
Yeah,
it's hard to say.
yeah.
Well, I mean, he said some pretty controversial shit. So
Well, if he also deletes his
Google machine-
Instagram, he's no use to somebody that he's no use to Evogen if he can't promote the brand as well.
Mhm.
It really doesn't matter who you are. If you don't show up to work, why am I to pay you?
Well, or if you're promoting the brand and that's actually bad for business,
Yeah.
that makes people
That's
not
a
want to,
good
which
point.
is ridiculous too. But I mean, if you're going to have paid athletes, and your athletes are not making more sales, they could potentially be making less sales. I mean, that could be, there's got to be a tipping point there.
mhm.
Yeah, pay them to promote your competition.
well, somebody
Well,
said they
for
heard he got
psychology.
mass reported, and his account got taken down, but it's back up now. I mean, that's possible. I've had that happen.
And that's what happened to Derek after he won the Olympia a few years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah. It was,
People
but that was
mass-reported it.
they said that was because of all of Hottie's fans trying to get his
It
channel
was.
taken down.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, you can gain I think they fixed some of that, but you can game the algorithm and mass report people and get them to, because the way the stupid social media rules work, they got this 3 strikes you're out rule. If you get all they have to do is report all your videos, and if 3 of them stick, you get your count
done.
suspended.
Yeah.
Yep. All they need is 3 to stick.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me on YouTube. But yeah, it's another story. I don't want to give whoever it was any. Was able to get everything back, and YouTube blocked whoever it was.
That's what's going on with 40K right now. There's a company called Markscan just basically claiming to have copyrights, and then they just go to GW and try to get the rights to the copyright. One of the guys I listen to, Automatic Singers, got 6 more days. If they don't file a lawsuit that proves they have the copyrights, he gets his channel back. But it's been 30 days. He's got 40 strikes on him.
Dalton says, Martin is my favorite bodybuilder. Love his content. Love how he works out. Love hearing him on podcasts talk about bodybuilding, but damn, he's immature.
No.
I mean, part of that's being young. I had a hothead when I was in my 20s, and I used to get really offended by people easily. Thank you, Necro Phil, for subscribing.
I wonder, do any of these guys have like small media teams? Since they're actually handling their social media, like maybe it's not Martin himself, but somebody in that staff. I don't know.
I doubt he has a social media manager. He probably doesn't make enough money to do it. These guys don't make as much money as you think, especially if they're not actively out promoting stuff on most bodybuilders, unless they're winning, the Olympia, are broke.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's an expensive sport that doesn't make a lot of money.
No,
Mostly.
and there's not the big sponsorships like they used to have. Like, hey, Joel, I hope Joel's doing well. We need to get
Joel, are you going to
back
be at the
on.
Arnold?
I miss
I
Joel.
hope he is. Yeah, I miss Joel. Oh, Joel is one of my favorite people. Such an awesome person.
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, the problem, like people think like these guys are making big money with these sponsorships from the supplement companies. It's usually like a few grand a month, and then they get a cut of whatever their discount code is. It's not what you think.
Well, Fuad said he paid Martin $100,000 when he first joined.
Yeah,
Got a big payout. Oh, Joel's not going to be at the Arnold, but we'll be there and we'll think of you.
Yep.
Martin's with Raw now, isn't he?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, and so's his girlfriend. I think that was, they are in the same.
Dalton. When I was in the
they just signed Justin Shire too.
Dalton said, when I was in the NFL, cool, you were an NFL player. They call it a delusional athlete syndrome. So many of the guys need to use any perceived slight to give them an edge. It elevates them. A lot of them pretty crazy. Well, I mean, that's what Michael Jordan did.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Michael Jordan, that's all he did to motivate himself.
And it's multiplied by the fact that a lot of those individuals come from a childhood that's already a problem.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, we talked about it last week. We saw Dorian Yates talking about it. The fuck you motivation.
Yep.
The ultimate motivator is fuck you to that my third grade English teacher that said I wasn't going to amount to shit.
Or my mom who
Yep.
yelled at me one time, or my dad who didn't hug me enough.
Yep. I am a big advocate of fuck you motivation.
Yeah, you want to see me go at it. Tell me I can't do something.
Yeah, I know. Me too, man.
I'm the last person that's going to block somebody for being malicious because I want you to see me win.
You know, I used to tolerate fools, but anymore I have implemented a no asshole policy in my life. I just don't have time for that energy. You want to come in my comment section and be a jerk or send me a nasty DM or say something, I'm good. You got nothing. I got nothing for you.
I just speak to them like they're not people because they aren't to me. Like I've been giving people I've been trying to reach you for your car's extended warranty response to a lot of troll comments lately. It's fun.
I just block people. I don't
That's
even
two
fuck
for
around
Espanol.
If you read a little philosophy, you learn, and I'm paraphrasing here, that arguing with idiots is just futile effort.
Well, my dad and his redneck wisdom, he used to always tell me when I was younger, he'd be like, don't roll around in the mud with the pigs.
Yeah.
Because they just enjoy it.
Yep. And you'll end up covered up.
Well, I mean, that's what the whole clout chasing thing is.
Really
right?
is.
Yeah.
They're trying to
They
get
want
you
the
to get a
mud.
response. And really, it's just like, it used to piss me off because, I had some interactions with some dudes that were clout chasers or get, I don't know. I think some of these guys are, sometimes I think it's a strategy. There's, not, I don't know him personally, but clearly, Greg Doucette has made a living elevating himself by going after other people.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
he's
I-
not
and
above
He
everybody.
plays the heel role very well.
Yeah.
And he's transparent about it. That's what I like, though, is he's like, yeah, I'm playing the villain because it gets clicks, it gets views. Hello, this is what I'm
Yes.
doing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a brilliant strategy. I mean, dude was like, nobody really cared about him when he was just making fitness content, and then when he switched to the drama stuff, I mean, he blew the fuck up. So I mean,
Yeah, like
Really
he
works.
The
shows
parrot
like
voice too. The parrot
Yeah,
voice is killer.
yeah, and he puts up old videos. He's like, this is how I used to speak. This is how I spoke normally, and nobody cared. So now that I
It was
am
good
this
information.
character, everybody listens. So
It was good information too.
and I am guilty as charged. I listen to some of his content sometimes, even though I don't like that kind of. I can't bring myself to do that kind of content. I just can't.
it's good
It's
back
just
I
and
don't
not
like
good.
listening to it either. I don't listen to Greg Doucette stuff just for that reason. I'm not a big fan of like overly hyperbolic anything in general anyway, and much less when it is seeking conflict. Like I spent a good part of my life learning how to not seek conflict. So I don't
Yes.
just don't indulge it.
Marty, I will take all the help I can get. I don't
It
know.
is funny though that his word is sort of synonymous with a certain female hygiene device.
Shut. Is that
Yeah.
Canadian?
I don't, it's it's to each their own. It's not what I like to engage in, but the stuff that really bothers me is when the guys some people are just evil and mean.
Mhm.
Like there are some people that are just fucking evil and mean about it. Like it's just like, yeah, I don't get into that shit.
Paul, we had a question about membership. What do you get for being a member? What are the benefits of the Anabolic Bodybuilding membership program?
I just turned the feature on the other day. I've yet to figure that out.
It's not what you get.
Send
it's what you
suggestions to
don't
Paul's
get.
email account.
I don't even remember what I charged for it. I think it was like $2 or $3 a month. We'll put some badges up, and then maybe I'll do some private Q&A, or maybe like the Q&A I'll extend it a little longer for members or something.
Or just like behind the scenes content. So like when you
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it allows you to do a member only content section.
yeah.
that they'll have
members
access
only
to.
videos, members only Q&As. You can do members only posting.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe we'll
join
maybe
the
we'll
school
make some
membership. It's
content
great.
at the Arnold that only those guys can see.
That's what I did whenever I went to Olympia or Arnold. I would a lot of that content I would just put on the members only.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to working out with you guys at some point.
Yeah, same, man.
Yeah.
Gonzo, are you going to the Arnold?
Oh yeah, I'm there.
Okay. I'll see you there, man.
Absolutely, guy. It'll be awesome.
Nice.
Like when I did Mike Israetel, I went to his house and I recorded that and going in, and I put that up on the members only so they could kind of see me walk in, say hi to Mike, and then I recorded
That's
his
hilarious.
studio, and
Bading says guitar picks with eggplants on them. That's
Sweet.
we should that.
We did
good.
an up arrow with a trend written on front of it. That's what we need too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to do some badges and stuff, and yeah, I'll come up with something soon. Like we'll probably I'm doing the Saturday Q&As, or maybe we can hang a little bit and talk about some shit after these. I don't know. I'll figure something out. But yeah, usually what I will do is like I said, prioritize questions from members right now. That would be
Mhm.
what we're gonna do. Does it show me who are members? Yes, it does.
Yeah, the
cool.
membership thing is a weird one where they just vanish. So you got to make sure you capture that list somewhere.
So it looks like the members have. Let's look in the questions. They have a little green next to them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
they're
So
green.
we'll get. So members get their questions answered first. So there
Nice.
you go.
New member. Plenty of them. Awesome.
All right, we want to get some questions. We'll start with the new
Let's do
member.
it. Look at that. Dalton just became a member.
All right.
All right. So the first question is from one of our new members today. This is from Bada Bing. Just came off 12 weeks of 400 tests, 200 primo, 200 mast. HDL is 31, LDL is 218, ApoB 165, total test 1415, free is 479. Just started cholesterol lowering strategies. How long before I should test lipids again?
Probably 6 to 8 weeks, 6 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks. Make sure you've added your list from 300 to 600 minutes. And if you're following Paul's cholesterol list off the website, you should have everything else that we know.
I would also. You may want to get. All right, so a couple things to unpack here. Like if your LDL and ApoB are that high, and I would be curious to see what your diet looks like. I'm betting you're probably eating a high fat diet, but even still, you might want to get genetic testing done for dyslipidemia and see if you have genetic dyslipidemia. I was kind of like, it's pointless to test this. Like, look, I know my fucking cholesterol runs high even when I'm eating lean, but my doctor's like, it's a good thing to find out for your children so they can start aggressively treating it at a young age,
Right.
and prevent future heart disease. So, but I mean that ApoB is pretty gnarly, man. That's a high ApoB.
Yep.
You should target getting that thing down to about 80, I would say.
I think with all lipids, in the context again of people who are enhanced, you're going to be using more LDL. Every cell in your body uses LDL. When you're increasing muscle mass, you're using LDL. So what I would do is measure it's not about the LDL itself. It's about whether or not it sticks as plaque to the vessels, right? So measuring the inflammation of the vessels is important, so you can match that number and say, is there inflammation going in the vessels? Is it actually sticking and creating plaque, creating atherosclerosis, right? So some things like MPO, measuring myeloperoxidase, MPO, or LPPLA2, these will really measure inflammatory enzymes inside the vessels. So you can match those things. So I've seen really, there's something called the athlete's paradox, where really enhanced people will have high LDL just because they're using it, and through metabolic flux, you move LDL through your bloodstream. But their inflammatory markers, their vessel inflammatory markers, are very low. So It's kind of just a sign that no, you're just using that LDL. So, it just gives you a better idea. Is it causing a problem if you get those inflammatory marker tests inside your vessels?
great
Yeah, I would
point.
definitely check that out. But even still, the ApoB number is pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
I would be, I would be a little concerned about that.
In your experience, Paul, it takes longer to get the HDL up than it does to take the LDL down, huh?
I mean, HDL is just going to be suppressed on. There's really, I mean, the 30s is probably about as good as it gets running gear.
Add running.
Well, if you add running, you're not growing muscle. And there's no open class bodybuilder that's running. If you're just a recreational gym goer.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Most of our guys aren't open class bodybuilders asking us these questions.
Yeah, but some of these dudes want to be. There's no fucking way my 270-pound ass is running.
I would recommend some walking though, out in the sun. Do something with that LDL.
What?
Every day. Every day walking. Always good in the sun.
And
Let's
if you
get the
live where
next-
Amy lives, go get under a red light somewhere.
Yeah, get under a red light somewhere. Let's get the next member question.
All right, so this one is from Bless Lab. Shelf life of injectables, shelf life of UGL, HGH stored in the fridge, unreconstituted. Thinking of buying both in bulk for a few years.
I mean, I use some 8-year-old injectables I've had sitting around, decade old. They've been fine.
Pretty
Yeah,
immortal
once
if you
they're
keep them in
fresh.
good conditions.
Yeah, the testosterone compound is very stable, so it does not break down. Like, one of the fallacies that we have to deal with in the when we're working with compounding pharmacies is they have to put these bud dates beyond usage dates, and they're ridiculous. And it's actually what you learn is it's a tactic by drug companies to force these compounding pharmacies to into using all these, into restricting what they can do, and by making the regulations so crazy that it's hard for them to comply. Right? So
Yeah, they prescribe a woman TRT and tell her to buy 200 milligrams per ml and then throw it away after 3 weeks.
yeah, right, yeah. Because because they call the bud date 30 days or something. It's ridiculous. The stuff lasts for years. I mean, Paul, remember when? I mean, people came to me with my stuff, and they said that they used it 4 or 5 years later, and it was still fine. It still worked.
Yeah.
well. It worked fine.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't the exception to that be like if something is intentionally overdosed, like if you're trying to push the level of test up in suspension high enough, it becomes a little less stable, right?
Well, yeah, but then it will just crystallize out in solution. It wouldn't be a function of the actual molecule, the testosterone molecule breaking down. It would just come out of suspension.
Yeah. You can just reheat it and ta-da.
Yeah. Right.
I found
And
a bottle of a kit of HGH I forgot about in my fridge for probably 2 years, and I busted that out. Seems to be fine.
Yeah, especially like when it's not reconstituted. Yeah, I mean it's in that powder form. It's just very stable. There's nothing breaking it down.
Yeah.
What about in powdered form, but not refrigerated, like in a cool, dark, normal
Probably still
temperature
fine.
place?
Probably
Could be
still
fine,
good.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you need that.
I mean,
It needs to be in water and a little bit of heat to catalyze the reactions and catalyze the peptide breakdowns. And if it's just dry, it's just breaking down.
Yeah. So, like in a desk, say theoretically,
It should be fine.
Whatever you want, yeah. You throw it in the corner of your room.
We also see that these peptides are not as fragile as people think, too. Like all these tests
No,
coming
so-
out showing tirzepatide being fine 6 months later, being almost like still in the 90% purity, even 6 months after it's been reconstituted.
wow.
Yeah, I think Janoschik did some tests where he reconstituted GH and left it out for like a month, and it was still like 80%.
Yeah,
Potency.
like 6 months later.
Yeah, I think it was even better than that. It was.
Yeah.
I think he taped it right to the window so it'd get heat, it'd get sunlight.
Yeah.
it'd get everything.
Heated it.
Oh, wow.
That's right. He heated it to like over 100 degrees, and 6
Yeah.
months later it was still fine.
Yeah, you leave it out in the sun, it's gonna get hot as can be too. You know,
Sure.
just getting heat on.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're pretty resilient. I've bought in bulk myself and never seem to really have an issue noticing things kind of losing potency by any means.
Mhm.
All right, what's the next member question we got lined up here?
Next one is from Jay Groves 301. It was specifically addressed to Tanya and I, but I think Ryan actually is going to have some really good insights on this. Was switched HRT providers. Got her most recent labs back test was 958 total,
shit.
9 free SHBG, and this is what everybody glommed onto because this is really high as 146.
Wow.
Should she be worried about testosterone levels? And Ryan, I'll let you take this one to start.
Yeah, sorry. I have a lot of experience with this just because A, we treat a lot of women, and B, I have a lot of experience with SHBG, and I really have. I've dealt with it so much that it's really, SHBG at 146 is really high, and you're going to need there's a couple things here. The blood test, the SHBG does bind to testosterone with the highest affinity, or testosterone or DHT with the highest affinity, and it will hold it in your bloodstream. So people with high SHBG just tend to have higher total levels because it again, it is bound to that SHBG and it kind of stays in your blood. But the free testosterone will be lower. I think she said her free. Well, there's a couple things here. Free testosterone metric is notoriously inaccurate, right? So I just throw free testosterone levels in the garbage because there's for multiple reasons. Either whether it's the direct test with equilibrium dialysis, which is the gold standard. The test is very difficult to run and wrought with potential inefficiencies and inaccuracies, and the calculation can be up to 300% off. The calculation is really bad.
Well,
Because for instance, the calculation assumes a 1-to-1 binding stoichiometry between testosterone and SHBG, and SHBG actually has 2 binding sites, so it binds up to 2 testosterone molecules. Albumin binds 3 testosterone molecules, can bind up to 3 testosterone molecules. And again, the calculation only assumes a 1-to-1 stoichiometry. So right there, it can be 300% off. So I just see this a lot. And people with high SHBGs need a really high total in order to really feel that effects. And like her free testosterone is just around the top of the range, even though her total testosterone is really high. And plus it depends on the type of testosterone test she had. If she had like an immunoassay, it can cross detect the other testosterone precursors or metabolites such as DHT, DHEA, androstenedione. So it really just depends. So that's why, and that's another reason we say treat the patient, not the numbers. Like, how are you feeling? Are you having any side effects? You're going to need a high testosterone with that kind of SHBG. So what I actually tend to do in this situation is use oxandrolone. Oxandrolone significantly inhibits SHBG production. So we can use just a kind of a 5-ish, 10 milligrams of oxandrolone, bring down your SHBG to a manageable level, and then we can treat you with a normal dose of testosterone.
Now, what about one question I would have on that topic, though, is for some women, their limiting factor is going to be how androgenic side effects come about. For some, they're very sensitive on the lower end of total testosterone or free testosterone, where others can kind of tolerate it higher. But I'd imagine 99 out of 100 women, unless you know better, I'm sure you know better than myself, but 99 out of 100 women at those kind of levels are going to experience some sort of androgenic side effects that they're not going to be happy with. It's not something they're going to want to live with. I'd imagine the majority would.
Again, that SHBG acts as a buffer to the testosterone. It's carrying it, and it is facilitating non-genomic effects that actually make the free testosterone more effective. But it really buffers the testosterone. So you're actually not getting that much of testosterone transcription when you have a SHBG that high. So like right here, she says she feels amazing. That's what I would go on. I wouldn't go on. And again, that number, the test could be off, right? If she had that as immunoassay, her testosterone could be 300 less than that. And then if her real testosterone levels in the 600s with that high SHBG, that's where it needs to be to actually to be effective, for her to have an adequate total testosterone SHBG ratio. Yeah. So right there, you just go on how she's feeling. She says she's feeling amazing. Testosterone, there's not a silent killer. It's not like it's like, oh, your testosterone is this high, therefore your heart's just going to explode because it's just too high. Or you're going to suddenly have androgenic side effects. Like So we could ask her too. Can you just tell us, are you having androgenic side effects? Do you have hair growth? Do you have just voice changing? The real ones we're worried about is voice changing, even hair growth. Like you can pluck the hairs, depending on how bad it is, right? Or sometimes females can get anxiety if their testosterone's high, but she feels amazing. That's the metric I would go on.
Mhm.
If she feels good, see, no androgenic side effects, she's fine. There's no silent killers. That's what, like, one of the problems in the medical community is that there's a fundamental foundational problem with the education of providers regarding hormones. Ignorance breeds fear, right? So if they're like, I don't know what this does, and you see a high number, you just get scared and say, you got to bring that down just because I don't know. Maybe you're just going to drop dead. And that's not really how it works. We look at the same things that we look at for everybody to see if there's going to be a long-term adverse consequence. And that's just symptoms of hypertension, blood pressure, heart rate. Like if you're having no side effects and your health markers all your other health markers are in adequate ranges, then you're fine.
Yeah.
So Ryan, what would you recommend if she didn't want to do the Anavar to bring that level down, to get that ratio a little bit better?
Yeah, that's a problem. I don't know anything else that will bring her SHBG down to a more manageable level. I mean, you could say boron, but it's not going to bring it down that much. Oxandrolone will bring it down into the 60s. Where
Well, her doctor says she's healthy, so everything's good, right?
I would say, I would agree with that. If she feels good, then just stay right where you are.
Well, I guess part of my thought process was just try to set some things up in place to be screening and double checking some of the things like androgenic side effects. We're all pretty good about usually, especially when you're working with a TRT clinic, you're usually pretty good about checking, blood pressures, checking every metric you can through blood panel. But also, just from working with women, with the, PEDs being involved too, I just try to set up other things too, because it's just because you don't have side effects. No, I'm not trying to fear monger either. I just want to make sure that we cover a few bases because, you can get like a voice app, make sure that your voice isn't changing. It's hard to tell that day by day as the individual yourself.
Yeah.
Now, if I didn't see Amy and she was using something and her voice was changing, if I don't talk to her within a year, I'm going to notice because, hey, a year's gone by. It's a big change to me. But you as an individual, the person taking this stuff, I just put a couple other safe holds in place, like check, be sure that you're, no hair growth, just double check these things as time goes on. It's not like you check them once and you're A-okay, because like we just talked earlier, as we age, things do change with our responses to these compounds. Yep. And then the last thing I just mentioned is depending on what you're doing, like if this is just for your well-being and your health, but if for a bodybuilder, right, like a female bodybuilder, some of these effects seem to change too as they kind of diet down into a show as well. Or they become maybe more sensitive. That's when we notice some of the androgenic effects maybe pick up speed, or they just start to show their face. So, and those things are just hard to change. We can change high blood pressure. We can work on lipid issues. Some of the androgenic effects are not reversible. So I'm usually just a little more to drag my feet and make sure I can double check everything is all.
Yeah.
Ryan, out of curiosity, have you had experience with women using, instead of testosterone, using like a nandrolone for their TRT?
Yeah. I actually have females, like with men, I have fantastic results. There is a subset of the male population that doesn't do well with nandrolone. I don't find any female that has had a problem with nandrolone. Now, I've also dealt with significantly lower amount of females on nandrolone, but I have dealt with enough to see. I've seen very beneficial effects with nandrolone in females.
What have you noticed being differences between that? Because I've gone back and forth between using testosterone and nandrolone as my HRT replacement.
What I would say is just based on how you're feeling. Like some females, I just can't get, especially testosterone cypionate. Testosterone, and this also could be a reason why her level is so high. Testosterone cypionate females, the half-life for females is significantly longer than it is for men. So it's more like a half-life of more like 2 weeks. So what I've seen females do is say in the first couple of weeks, they don't feel anything. So they just keep increasing their dose, and maybe they start to feel something in the 4th week. And then they'll be like, oh, I feel good, maybe a little more. And they'll just kind of keep bumping that up. And then their testosterone is slowly just rising and rising because the half-life is so long. They're just, every injection they do is just bouncing off the top of the last one, right? So I've seen females go over 1,000 by accident, right? By like a female can go over 1,000 with just 50 milligrams a week of
Yeah.
testosterone cypionate, where a male
Yeah,
couldn't do that
that's
because the half-life is so much shorter for men. So what I've seen though is some females, it happens more with females, but some females don't do well with that cypionate ester because it is a complex ester. It's shaped in a pentagon, which is kind of unlike what the esterases are used to dealing with. So it's, for some people, it's hard to dock to that ester to remove it. So something like nandrolone with a straight carbon chain, your body knows how to deal with that. You deal with it with carbohydrates all the time. You have to break off the straight carbon chain. So nandrolone, I get a lot of females that just feel so much better on it, probably because they're getting the full androgen dose because their esterases are able to deal with that straight carbon chain. So I get a lot of females who feel better on nandrolone than they do testosterone.
What if they were to use testosterone propionate? Because that's actually what I use for my TRT.
Yeah. So I have females who feel better on testosterone propionate too, and other females though it's actually it causes because testosterone increases tyrosine hydroxylase, which increases the catecholamines, norepinephrine, epinephrine, and dopamine. So if you get for some females, it increases norepinephrine and epinephrine too much, and they get this like anxiety. They're in this fight or flight state. So it really depends on the female. Some females do better on testosterone cypionate. Some do better on, better on testosterone propionate. Some do better on testosterone cypionate. What I typically do is start females on testosterone cypionate. If they don't respond that well, we'll switch to testosterone propionate. And even you've tried nandrolone if they're having some of the symptoms that nandrolone would be beneficial.
So how do you notice the dynamics changing between nandrolone and estrogen and progesterone if they were to do that instead of testosterone, if they're dependent on all three?
Yeah. So if they're taking estrogen and progesterone, then it really wouldn't matter. We can just substitute nandrolone, right? But for females, using an androgen does not inhibit their estrogen production. Right. So for men, if we just gave you nandrolone, your estrogen is going to shoot down into the gutter. For females, it doesn't happen. The hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis doesn't. The androgens alone don't inhibit estrogen production or progesterone production. So for a premenopausal female, you can still just use nandrolone, and they'll still have plenty of estrogen.
I'm sorry to prolong this. I have one last thing, and because Ryan's the perfect one to ask this too, but she did mention that it's a topical testosterone cream. How do you kind of really feel about those? But wouldn't you want to encourage probably like injectables? So we could be
That's the medical guidelines, but
that's another
the dosage
variable.
being a tiny bit is not exactly an exact
that's what I kind
science.
of mean.
Yeah.
Some form of consistency.
But that's another variable. If she took this blood test right after she applied the cream, then her level could just be kind of, I don't want to say artificially high, but it's only temporarily high because the half-life of the cream is only 6 to 8 hours, right? So
maybe
if
she got it
applied
right
the
at her
cream,
spike
took
and
the
then
blood
dropped.
test, she's going to read really high, but
point.
3 hours later, it's going to be a lot lower.
Yeah, even the clicks. I mean, like it's just, I don't know. If you're really looking to have a very precise measurement, I would go with an injectable over a cream.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
we
injectable, it's
don't
just
want
easier to
swing.
stabilize your levels. Like with the cream, it's fluctuation, right? And that's why you have to do the cream twice a day because you're fluctuating.
And they default to the creams or the pellets because they assume that you're not going to want to inject. If you tell them you're comfortable with injecting, they'll more than likely be amenable to giving you injection prescription.
And most providers don't understand the pharmacokinetics of injectables. So, and they're just afraid to use them again. So, but injectables it's easier to stabilize your levels. The absorption's 100%. The absorption for cream is only like 10-ish%, depending on the person. So, but in the injection,
Inject, once every 7 to 10 days versus having to do the cream twice a day.
Yeah.
It would matter. And too, Ryan, I mean, even if you squeeze it a little bit while you're doing the click, like you're going to get more, like it's not a perfect science with the clicks.
Yeah, and that's because the goal is to have consistent administration too, because that keeps those levels a little more consistent and easier to rely on and getting accurate measurements.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, next member's question.
Okay, so a couple people became members during the stream, so their questions came in before they became members. So I'm trying to make sure I remember everybody who became a member, and the Thomas Turner is definitely one who did. So he asked, "Can T3 cause blood pressure to go up?" Yeah. Yeah.
Central nervous system stimulation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Causes your heart rate to go up if you're taking too much. It's going to cause your blood pressure to go up if you're.
Yeah, high T3 can kill you.
Yeah, I know. I almost died on contest prep from it.
It's also very catabolic.
Yeah, I lost all my muscle too.
Yep.
Paul, I was listening to a podcast this week and I can't remember. It was a couple of young, like early 20 something bodybuilders, and they were talking about you specifically and your prep where you looked like a,
Nosferatu.
labor camp victim. Yeah, it was great. You're helping the young bucks avoid that same fate.
Well,
Yeah,
to be fair,
I'll definitely give you that look.
yeah, not doing T3 could save their life.
Yep.
It was a terrible look. I like to go back and look at the picture every once in a while, but yeah, T3. I mean, people forget that there's really three mechanisms for raising blood pressure primarily, and that affect us. That as PED users, you have water retention, you're going to have vasoconstriction, and then you're going to have increased central nervous system stimulation, which can cause increased pulse, the heart to pump harder, etc. The most common cause for us in the bodybuilding community is going to be water retention from the stimulation of renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system. But I would say central nervous system stimulation gets largely overlooked in treatment. And, it's like when you are treating blood pressure with, I've talked to my cardiologist about this. He's very open-minded about PED use, but he said that the combination of, this was his take. He said 40 milligrams of telmisartan and 5 milligrams of nebivolol are going to be way more effective than 80 milligrams of telmisartan because you're hitting different pathways. And then he also said, if you really wanted to hammer it home, you could do 40 milligrams of an ARB or of telmisartan, 5 milligrams of nebivolol, and add a calcium channel blocker in there. Now, the problem I've had with calcium channel blockers is the calcium channel is also kind of important for muscle contractions. And I find that my strength takes a hit. You'll see a noticeable drop in strength when you're using calcium channel blockers.
Well, your next one on the list is diuretics, so
Yeah, diuretics. But I mean, that's the sledgehammer for water retention, right?
Yeah.
It works quickly.
Yeah, it does work quickly. I mean, hopefully with the blocking of the renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system, or the inhibition of it, we'll get rid of some of the water retention. But yeah, you can get the ARBs packaged with there is telmisartan that has hydrochlorothiazide packaged in with it. But I have run that from time to time.
Yeah, same.
So yeah, just keep an eye on your pulse. Keep an eye. Usually when you see an elevation, and Josh, you would know this, but usually when you see an elevation of systolic and not in diastolic, it's usually central nervous system stimulation.
Diastolic is a lot of exercise related.
Exercise and water retention.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and I even on replacement doses for thyroid, I've seen people's blood pressure and heart rate go up, even just on smaller kind of doses that you introduced.
Yeah, I mean, it is powerful. I mean, the good thing about it, though, is it also has a short half-life. So as soon as you stop taking it, those
Number one,
effects
it's hard to
reverse
absorb
themselves
because most
quickly.
people don't take it without water before everything else for 30 minutes. And,
Taking it with caffeine
Yeah.
or with, calcium or other substances that make it, that block it. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to totally shit on T3 though, because if your levels are low,
yeah, if your liver's low,
it's really beneficial. Like, I mean, it increases your metabolism, allows you to actually utilize fat as energy, and but
no, it's great.
too much, it's catabolic. It can be catabolic.
Right. But based on his question, can T3 raise blood pressure? We think past the 25 a day or 12, whatever.
In case you were wondering what 100 micrograms of T3 looks like, I was shredded.
Yeah,
you were shredded.
Wow. You were totally shredded. Yeah.
If that was the look that got you a pro card, how awful and terrible and funny would that be? Because they're like every year you be 180. Some crap.
I weighed in I think I weighed in like 180.
Wow,
the show.
Wow.
that's
Yeah, I was
crazy.
70 pounds heavier for my pro card.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back in the early 2000s, like that was the standard dose of T3, like 100 micrograms. That's
Oh
a
my
huge
gosh.
Oh my
Can you
god,
imagine?
that was
Mhm.
that God, I just look back on that and I'm like, I remember being disappointed. I'm like, oh man, I'm so shredded. Why? I worked so hard on this prep. I worked harder than everybody. And so that's a lesson for people. Being the hardest working guy doesn't necessarily translate to the best physique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you riddled with anxiety or anything while you did that?
Oh, I
much?
felt terrible. I couldn't fucking sleep. Look at my eyeballs, man. They look like they're going to bulge out of my head.
Does he
You look
young
like
in
the
any way?
word anxiety.
I mean, I already have anxiety to begin with, but
Anxiety
Jesus,
incarnate.
Your
Right,
eyes are
man,
sunk
it was-
from. I can see them sunk in from here.
oh man, they were sunk in, and Colin was hilarious. He was with me. He's like, he said, I felt like I was having the last. When we went out to dinner afterwards, he's like, I felt like I was having the last dinner with my good friend that was about ready to pass away. I'm like, thanks, man.
Is that?
Yeah, he said he was worried about you.
Versus this is
Yeah.
this is where I
Come on.
ended up.
Yeah, come on.
It's only. It's only
Is that the one that
seven-
got you banned for being advertising for steroids just by the photo alone?
Well, I put the photo up and I had my cycle in the
Uh,
in the caption, but yes.
Yeah, they look like if they would have
Works.
thrown rotten vegetables at you, you would have eaten it.
So there's a little difference between those two pictures.
Mhm.
that's what 85 pounds.
Yeah, about 80
That's
pounds.
difference. Oof.
80.
Ryan, you make a good point, though. I mean, with some of the T3, a lot talking about anxiety. A lot of people do get a little wound up from T3. There's some weird kind of mental sides once in a while.
Oh,
from
for
person
sure.
to person with T3. I've noticed.
I
You take too much, yeah. You
once
won't
in a blue moon I will use it with somebody on contest prep, but only if their levels are low. And in fact, I find quite the opposite with men. I think women are a little bit different. Women tend to have thyroid issues, but I notice with dudes as you get deeper in prep, they're taking more stimulants and growth. I mean, growth hormone is going to increase T4 to T3 conversion. Trend will too. And you're going to see increased T3 and T3 uptake. But most of the time I see it's the opposite. A lot of guys end up with hyperthyroidism when they're going into the end of a prep because of growth hormone and trend.
Mhm.
That's what I see more often
Yeah.
on blood panels. Okay, what do we got up next?
Next one we have is from Josh with salt. What does everyone think about blue light blocking glasses? I've been experimenting with those recently.
I became a believer. I started maybe 2 months ago, and I definitely noticed that it calms me down. Like I put them on, it does the trick. I kind of get this sensation. It's bedtime, and I allow myself to put the phone away, put the laptop away, and yeah, it just seems to kind of not make me as what's the word? Kind of just like
Stimulated.
Stimulated. That's exactly stimulated. I noticed
If
myself
you-
kind of turned down a bit.
Yeah, I mean, we're
If
not
you
supposed to
haven't-
be getting those. We're not supposed to be getting a whole bunch of blue light in our eyes, except for during the day. So if we're getting a bunch of that at night, our brains
Mhm.
think it's daytime. It's especially good if you work late. If you work past sunset, like if I work at the gym, I'm there till 8. I'll put my blue light blockers on after like 6. So after sunset,
Mhm.
yeah.
If
My
you have
daughter
a
uses
Mac,
it. Mhm.
if you have
Sorry.
a Mac, if you have a Mac, they have actually a blue light filter built into the system. You can set it. It's called night shift.
Yep.
You can do
Well,
that on any laptop or any operating
iPhones
system has
should
that
do
now.
it.
Yeah,
Windows will do it.
yeah.
I've got-
Android,
And then
Chromebook. They
yourself.
all
I
have
don't. I'm a Mac guy, so
Yeah.
No, you're good. No, I understand. But yeah, no, everybody has that night lights. I just turn the night lights on. I don't need the glasses, but
Yeah. So my daughter, who's 14, has been using the glasses at night, and it made a huge difference in her sleep. Like enough that she remarked on it and told me like that this was a good idea. So
Mm.
I just got my new glasses the other day, and they have, I got the blue light filter put
oh yeah,
built
no doubt.
into them.
Got him.
Nice. Well, it's just as
Sort
simple.
of
It's
defaulted
just
to
a-
using all the settings on my television and electronic devices and stuff, but I do think that I had better circadian rhythm when I was using blue blocker glasses for sure.
Well, that's exactly it. It's giving you that signal, just not mentally because you looked at the clock, but your body starts to recognize, okay, I'm not getting the daylight coming through, and it's just a simple approach, and it seems to work quite well. Signaling is kind of half of what we're doing most of the time.
And it gives you a little bit of your flexibility back. Like it lets you have some screens at night to wind down. Like you can watch a relaxing TV show or whatever and still, protect your brain from those blue light waves.
Not gonna sip. Another trick that people can use and we use around my house is replacing the lights with like warmer tone lights at night.
And replacing your LED lights with incandescent lights, because LED
Yes.
lights are really bad for us. And
That's right.
incandescent lights are hard to find now, but they are better for you because it's like a flame. The incandescent
warmer.
light has the LED lights have a constant flicker that our eyes can't sense, but you can see if you record it with a video.
Oh.
And that's very unnatural and unsettling to our brains.
Yeah, I didn't know that part, but I did know about the I guess the light temperature, I guess. The where in the spectrum it is. So
That's
warm
why
lights-
Gonzo, those of us who are neurospicy, we can see
Mhm.
that flicker, and that's why we hate fluorescent lights so much and LED
I
lights.
don't know if I
because
can
we
see
can actually
it,
see
but I
that
can
flicker.
feel it. And it's
Yeah,
just call it
it's like a
neurospicy?
sensation. Yeah,
Neurospicy.
yeah.
That's
That's our
it's
word.
great, isn't it?
That's our word.
Real spicy. All right.
yeah.
Yeah, we can.
I had to
actually
stop you on
see-
that.
Yeah.
We can actually see that flicker in the LED lights, and that's why it's so distressing to us. It's distressing to everybody's brains, but we're more sensitive to it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
That in
read
combination with the 5G is how they plan to implement the New World Order. So
What other features does Nero Spicy come with? So we're allowed to talk about that.
attitude.
You know the
Irritability.
truth about the moon landing?
Oh,
And
God.
too, though, like I know for me, like the best sleep of the year comes in summer when the sun is up at 5 a.m. and down at 9:30. It's like the sun goes down. I get really tired. I go to sleep. I sleep hard like a baby. And as soon as the sun comes up, I pop up. And
Mhm.
I never sleep as good in the winter as I do in the summer.
The closer you get to a natural, like waking up with the sun and going to sleep with the sun, the better you're going to sleep.
Hard to do in the Northeast or Northwest. Sorry.
Yeah.
See, easy to do when you're near the in the Caribbean, near the equator.
Yeah.
Year
So I was
round.
just going to say, we need to all
Beautiful.
move closer to the equator.
But our bodies have ways of making up for that, though. Like we adapted to take cold exposure instead of sun exposure during the winter for people who live in northern latitudes. Like we evolved
Yeah.
mechanisms around stuff like that to still maintain our circadian rhythm.
Sure.
I'm resisting that evolution. I spent a lot of time in the cold. All right. Next one we got from Belly Flop Man. Finished 20-week cut, 202 to 175 on 300 milligram test sip, 25 Anavar. For the last 7 weeks, his labs are testosterone is 1840, free is 706, HDL is 29, LDL 77. After an 8-week health phase, start growth at 300 milligrams since I responded so well. That is his question. Where should he start back up his cycle at?
Start growth at 300.
Yeah.
I think he's talking about testosterone at 300
Yeah.
milligrams.
Yeah.
On his
He,
next
um,
growth cycle.
I think he means
he-
his growth phase.
Yeah, he commented later.
his
He
next
meant
phase.
his growth
Oh.
phase.
Yeah, I mean that's usually that's sort of the threshold of super physiological doses. I'd say that's like if you're a bodybuilder, that's kind of like where we're dipping into the realm of performance enhancement. I'd say at 300 milligrams.
Mhm.
That's usually where I start.
Yeah. And I'd probably, just my 2 cents would be introduce the food, introduce the other factors first and let those become, a baseline, see what response you get to the food increase if you're starting to grow, and then start putting in lastly, whatever milligrams you need. But yeah, I try to do, my goal with people in those kinds of cycles is to get through the health phase, get down the androgens as low as possible to a point. So that way we can climb up the ladder again. I don't want to jump right back onto where we left off. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's a good cut, though.
Yeah.
All right. This isn't so much a question. This is just from Tina. And just, I thought since we had Ryan on, it'd be a great one to talk about. She said she was taking Mont-C. It crushed her folate levels, so she stopped and is now working to restore those. But she hasn't, until we were talking about how long would reconstituted things last. But Ryan, have you seen that with people taking Mont-C, that their folate levels drop?
I didn't know that as a specific function of of MOTS-C. I know that there's a lot of people
The
who
GLP-1s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was I was going to say that. Like, I would associate that far more with the GLP-1 usage.
I know that there's a lot more failure to adequately absorb folate than people think. So
Mhm.
I mean, and you actually see it quite often. So yeah, I haven't noticed it being a specific function of MOTS-C, but it's possible.
Yeah.
I would ask Tina if she was using a GLP-1. I have seen more micronutrient deficiencies in the last year than I have in my entire 30 years of doing this shit. I see a lot of B12 deficiencies, a lot of folate deficiencies, a lot of vitamin D deficiencies. I've even seen people with low calcium on their blood work.
Yep.
I've never seen that before, ever. Low ferritin, probably because of the B12 deficiencies. And maybe and it all seems to be people running GLP-1s, and maybe they affect iron absorption, but it seems like they certainly have an effect on micronutrient absorption. So, and I don't know that I don't think the MOTS-C would interact with the gut in any way, but
Well-
the slowed gastric emptying with the GLP-1 certainly can.
Just a quick search with for that on MOTS-C. It does say that ChatGPT is saying that MOTS-C does appear to hit the folate cycle and can lower a specific
Oh, okay. There we
intracellular
go.
folate form. So the part that jumps out to me is the original discovery work found on MOTS-C targets the folate methionine cycle and it depletes intracellular 5-methyl tetrate hydrofolate in cultured cells, and that adding folic acid reversed some of these metabolic effects that they were seeing. So I guess the cycle of uptaking it too, and in the cultured cells, the 5 folates getting depleted. I didn't know that either. I never seen it on blood work because I always chalked
There
it
we go.
up
Now we know.
Retta. Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, and then like I say, the big stack with the GLPs plus the MOTS-C and all those other ones. is-
Yeah, then you end up with a micronutrient malabsorption stack.
Yeah, and even if we take folic acid, still keep an eye on it because some people just don't absorb it properly. So
Yeah.
you still gotta make sure you have enough.
Yeah, absorbing and converting all of these things is really important too. And yeah, that's some of it too. If you're taking a lot of these combination peptides, absorption might be reduced,
Mhm.
transit time, all those things, but also intake. You can't discount the fact that people are intaking less food in general, and perhaps not biasing very nutrient dense foods because they're just not hungry. So all these things in a general population person, especially not so much in a bodybuilder. And Tina has her diet very much in check, but in a gen pop patient, that could very much be the case too. Just reduced intake is going to reduce those things as well. This is the comment that was making Mike laugh. It was not what Paul was saying. It was this comment.
And the answer is yes. The answer is yes.
Possible. Yeah.
So I think it would be unethical to put tren in somebody's EQ.
Because
And I
of the
never
side
did anything
effect.
like that. I did overdose like I made the doses higher than I actually put on the label just so we could make sure it was really potent. But and not a lot higher either, just a little bit higher. But there could be some UGL guy thinking, hey, people are gonna think I have the highest quality EQ if I put a little bit of tren in here.
Trend would make your estradiol numbers look higher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would also have a lot better effect. So
Yes, it would work a lot better.
it's possible that's done.
Tren is pretty unmistakable, though. I mean, it has a very
Yeah, it looks like refined avocado oil, and that's about all I can figure out.
Yeah.
I just figured that was a formal challenge to Josh's title for Troll of the Year. Going down the gauntlet.
Yep.
All right. We
All
got
right.
through all the member questions. We have a bunch more. What do we got time for?
I got to pick my kids up, but we can get 2 or 3 more in, depending on how long. I got to cut in about 10 minutes.
Rapid
Okay,
fire.
we'll get some easy ones. This one from Psycho0960. I was wondering if it's beneficial to go from 12 IU of HGH daily to 6 during a cut.
Let's say, yeah. I mean, I've always looked at you might not need quite as much growth hormone in in a cut, prepping for a show, as when we would be pushing for size.
Yeah.
I've always
Would you-
been putting people much lower on growth hormone during prep than
Yeah,
Would you retain less water too?
Yeah,
But drop
that's
it,
exactly.
right? So
for most people. Yeah.
That's a major
Yeah.
point. So figure out the dose where you as an individual start retaining noticeable water. And that would be a little different for everybody. So like I usually don't like to use myself as an example because everybody's different. Why does it matter what happens to me? But just as an example, like 4 IUs is about the max I can take before I start retaining more water. And yeah, like when I'm trying to look bigger, I'll take more than 4 IUs because I'm retaining water, but I'm also look bigger and things are better. But when I'm like actually trying to like look leaner, I'll go down to 4 IUs. So yeah, find whatever that dose is for you, and just kind of understand where you're going to retain water and when you're not, going to retain as much anyway.
and at least again, going with your example, right? That we're all individuals. At least for me, like a 1 IU difference is very visually different for me
Mhm.
within a day or two.
4 to
It's
6
great.
IUs is different for me too. Yeah,
Yeah, like
4 to 6.
the difference between 3 and 5. I usually do 3 when I'm cutting, and 5 now that I'm growing.
Yeah.
And it's visually a whole other animal.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
This one is not a question, but I do want to just comment on it quickly from Mr. Carl Stenelson. Obesity may be caused by people chasing nutrients while most of these foods lack these. And yes, there is that absolute theory of it's the protein philosophy that you'll continue to consume food until you get the correct balance of amino acids. So is there something to be said for that? Absolutely. I mean, that's why highly processed foods are not satiating. Like they are developed to be that way. They're also stripped of nutrients. If you look at something like white flour, it's stripped of all of its actual nutrients and then vitamins are added artificially back in. But is that going to be as satiating as a whole grain product? Absolutely not. So yes, you could potentially be overeating because your body is nutrient deprived. I mean, you see obese, people who are morbidly obese who are nutrient deficient, but they are extremely overweight. So, nutrients alone are not what's making you can be overweight and not consuming enough nutrients and be unhealthy. Yeah.
It's really interesting. I actually, for some reason, have never thought of that, but it makes total sense. Like you'll crave the foods of the nutrients that you need, that your body needs. And if you're not getting the nutrients, you just keep craving foods. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I never thought of it.
Well, it's like,
Yeah,
even
and
like pregnant
in the
women. will
starvation. Sorry, go ahead.
pregnant women will often report craving like dirt. I see Josh
Yeah.
is nodding. Yeah. And so it's like, there's things that like when your body is truly nutrient deprived, you will start having crazy cravings for like weird things.
My
not
sister
trend
went through
things.
that. Exactly that, what you said.
Oh, pickles and potato chips, like dill
Yeah.
pickles on potato chips. Still delicious when
yeah.
you're not pregnant, but I mean, it's just weird stuff.
In the
Yeah,
starvation and refeeding studies, I mean, they find pretty consistently that the over appetite doesn't really come back down until the lean mass is restored. So it
Yeah,
seems to
even
be
if you
governed by
overshoot
the
your
lean
fat.
mass. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Yep.
That makes
So you can
sense.
have more fat at the same level of lean mass, but you'll continue to want to refeed until you reach that level. And I think reversing out of contest prep kind of shows that. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. Paul, how a lot of your clients, and I've seen that myself this year. Like you kind of have this sweet spot of like you've been in such a deficit for so long, and you have this little like slingshot where you can continue to like put on muscle, but eventually
Yeah.
your body's going to catch up to that, and it's going to want to start to put fat on too. So. Our
And it
bodies are
makes-
smart. Like they want us
It
to
makes
survive.
perfect. Yeah, it makes perfect biological sense because okay, well, we obviously almost starved with the amount of lean mass and fat that we had before. So now we need to get back to that lean mass to be healthy, and we need more fat than we had before because that obviously wasn't enough. It makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
Right.
Right, to survive the next famine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why so interesting, the studies that they did after World War II on populations of pregnant women who were pregnant when the famine started versus women who became pregnant during, and how that affected their offspring, and the obesity rates of their offspring was different. Very fascinating. That survival
makes sense.
instinct
Yeah.
should be very much expressed in our DNA.
Huh.
Epigenetics plays a big role in that. Yeah.
Well, and just hunger and satiation signaling overall in obese people is way dysregulated. And
Right.
it's like when you take somebody from being overweight and you put them on a whole food structured diet, 99% of the time they'll go, I can't eat all this food. right? Because even though they're used to consuming more calories, they're eating all these hypercaloric, very satiating, highly satiating foods.
Mhm.
And you switch them to chicken and rice, and they're like, "Oh, this is so much." Like, try to match calorie for calorie a pizza with chicken and rice.
That's
Like, I
interesting.
dare you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, same thing, Mike. Those foods are very much fiber deficient and variety of fiber deficient. So many of those things play a role in leptin and ghrelin levels overall, but also in those like just feelings of satiety.
Yeah, and it doesn't help when a lot of these companies, their goal is to push out as much calories for the cheapest point that they can as well. Not how can I round this off to be suitable food first, which is what we're looking for when we're picking food.
Soy, corn, and saturated fat.
It just shows
Exactly.
the goals being different from the company's goal at the end of the day versus what we're trying to do. It's just so counterintuitive,
Yep.
it makes it difficult to follow.
It's that sugar, fat, salt combo that makes stuff super, super palatable.
Super
Four food
savory.
groups, right? Sugar, fat, salt, and booze, right? Those are the 4 food groups now.
And Amy, what's
That's-
the point called? It's not a
Bliss.
satiety.
Bliss
Bliss
point.
point. Yeah.
Mhm. The bliss
That's
point.
trickery right there. When you explained it, it's complete trickery. It's how can
No,
you
I
Yeah,
get
get
when
that.
most people talk about, oh, I love sugar, oh, I can't give up sugar, it's not sugar, it's sugar and fat, it's cookies, it's muffins, it's donuts, it's
Yeah,
pizza.
I got
Their
people
favorite
really
food.
butthurt when I put a post up about this where I said people aren't addicted to sugar; they're addicted to highly palatable foods. Nobody's eating sugar by the spoonful out of the bag.
That's right.
Do you know anybody that does that? I don't.
I actually did that when I was a kid.
Pixie
maybe Roman.
I haven't done
Roman-
it this morning, but I love it on.
Maybe,
I
but
did that when I was a kid.
you don't go to the store and buy the Domino's bag, right? Of sugar. You go and get donuts. You go and get ice cream. It's all the
Swedish.
highly palatable. And if and the people will use gummy candy as an example, but those are also highly processed and flavored.
Mhm.
Yes. So is frosting. Yes. Eating
Oh,
frosting.
frosting on a
is-
can is delicious. Put it in the fridge. Oh, yes.
Yep.
I don't think it's any more satisfying though than just a teaspoon of raw honey. Honestly,
You're a freak,
Honey.
Mike.
Love it.
You're
Who has a
wrong.
teaspoon? Of Come on.
You are so wrong.
Honey is so good. God, I wish I could have more honey.
it isn't good
Hey,
for
but who
you.
has a teaspoon? Come on. Just one? No.
I'd rather have none.
Yeah, that's
All
true.
right, let's squeeze one more in.
One more. Oh, one more. Oh, here we haven't done an exercise one. We'll do this one. So this one is from Anavar Give Up: How to Target Outer Quad Sweep.
Leg press,
Um,
high squat.
No, some of it's foot placement, and I have given people my lecture on leg training. This always drives me nuts with guys how they train legs. The quadricep itself is 4 muscles, but you think about like how many muscles are actually in the leg, and guys will do 3 or 4 days for their upper body, and then one day for their legs for their entire. Right. So like how the fuck are you going to effectively train everything? I think the butt division, the wellness girls
I
figured
was
out.
just about to say some of these guys could take some cues from the wellness girls.
Yep.
Yeah, you want to know how to
Absolutely.
train your legs? Go watch the wellness girls train. Those girls are training legs 3-4 days a week, some of them.
I built the
and
hip thrust machine and the inner thighs machine at my gym.
Yeah, so I mean, I have my clients, my trainees split up their training. I have a specific quad focus day, usually quad and calves. I'll do, and then I'll have an adductor, a hamstring, and glute training day where I split it up. And I think that's sort of like the bare minimum. I don't know I don't know why more people don't do it that way. But with quads, and I see a lot of the exercises that guys use. They think are quads, but aren't actually great quad exercises. Like you look, a lot of bros just default to squats, and squats are really a shitty quad exercise unless you're doing narrow stance, high bar squats, and you got Tom Platz short ass legs. They end up just being glutes and adductor training or lower back. Like I only feel squats in my lower back. I'm tall. but you look at foot placement on the, nobody really considers foot placement on hack squats or
Yep.
on the leg press either. I mean, I
That's
see
super
most
critical.
people are doing high and wide. When I look at them, that's going to be all glutes and adductors.
Yeah, you need to get a lot of knee flexion.
Yep. So
Okay.
you got to be at least somewhat low and narrow. You now, although I saw an exercise an orthopedic surgeon showing the shearing that the low and narrow ones cause on the not patella tendon, but the quadricep tendon, and that scared the fuck out of me officially. But the at least probably a narrow stance is medium on the platform, medium way down for quads. You could do things like another what guys would consider a bikini girl exercise, lunges and split squats and things like that are really good.
Yep.
Yes, this
And
bikini girl does a lot of split squats.
And consider a raised heel. Some squat shoes can do a lot for your quad training.
Mm-hmm.
We have a hack squat at my gym where you can tilt the platform. You can adjust the angle of the platform. It's like having a built-in squat shoe. It's fucking great,
That's
man.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll work.
Yeah, I don't know who came up with this. I forget the name of the brand, but it's a hack squat. They have a jack on the back of it. You can raise it up and down. You can raise the angle of the back, and you can set pins for the range of motion, how high and low it goes, and you can also tilt the foot platform up and down so you can get a different angle with your feet. So I tilt it down so it's like with my heels elevated. But yeah, that's a good point too. If your heels are coming off the platform or you're getting the butt wink, a lot of times squat shoes are just, if you can change the angle of the platform, are going to help with that.
One other quick thing that comes
Physiology and body mechanics are so much different too that you almost have to kind of really be able to get that mind muscle connection mastered between you and your quads and know what those minor adjustments are doing to what part of your leg when you're engaged in the stimulus.
Yeah, because it's not so much about, your foot position changes this head of the muscle, whatever. It's about the foot position that allows you to get into the best position for your body. So the foot position that allows you to get the most knee flexion and the most into your knees and using your quads. That's where the foot position actually matters for quads.
Yeah.
And god damn it, nobody cares how much you fucking leg press.
Nobody cares. That's true.
Nobody cares, man.
You want me to start asking?
Oh my god, the dudes with the smallest legs in the gym are always the ones that have fucking 50 plates. I was at the gym the other day and I was trying to look for plates for the hack squat and I couldn't find any. And I saw some dude with pigeon legs that had like 20 plates on the leg press machine. I'm like, bro,
Those are the same guys that do this job. They put their feet and they go.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
that's
like,
what they always do.
What are you
Hands
doing?
on their knees to push it,
Yeah, hands on their knees.
Or they just
Literally-
dive bomb the whole thing and muscle fuck the entire movement.
Yeah, or the range of motion is literally 2 inches.
I would also bet that girl or that guy is curling the 60-pound dumbbells and probably has a 2-inch penis on top of it. So
There's that.
And leaves nasty comments on muscular women's profiles.
yes,
Ah!
you look gross. You look like a man.
Yeah.
Maybe if you lift it properly,
If you lifted
would
more
look like
weights,
one
you would
too.
where would you? Yeah, they got good comebacks, man. That's fun to see.
I did want to mention one other thing for quad sweep, and actually, I know Mike and Tanya and myself were talking about this specific topic recently, and then one thing that she points out that's a great point is a taller person versus a shorter person, how they're built is going to have to come into play to foot placement. But I also see a lot of people kind of make a mistake where they assume their knee pattern. I'm not talking knees over toes, but I'm talking how they travel towards your body. It has to be set in stone. Like if I have my feet really close together and lower on a platform, I'm trying to stay quad dominant. For myself, I can keep my knees coming towards me and then at the end allow my kind of knees to open up a little bit to get a further depth. So I'm not allowing like my back to start hinging or my butt to come into play to press that off of me. I do think sometimes you have to consider, like, am I allowing my legs to travel naturally as I come into this squat pattern too, and staying on the target area?
And also, a lot of the times you can limit something like a hack squat to just your quads and not bring the adductors and stuff into it by cutting your range of motion a little bit.
Yes.
If you video yourself from the side and look at where your knees stop traveling forward, that is where your quads are no longer stretching anymore, and it's going into your adductors and glutes, which is fine. But if you really want to isolate it as much as you can into your quads, do that.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
where you get
ultimately,
tall
you end
guys
up-
hurting their hips a lot too. The
Yeah.
taller dudes aching their hips. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
ultimately, at least for me, I can feel I have a really good mind muscle connection with my legs, with everything in my legs. So you have to play. You have to play and you'll figure it out.
Mhm.
You will within 2 or 3 good, solid, heavy reps, you should be able to tell where am I feeling it mostly. You know.
Do some
And
1.5 reps on the hack squat. That'll do it.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't think I felt my quads until I had trained legs for like a decade.
Same.
And it's because I was like obsessed with squatting.
Yep.
It's all, and it's like and you'll see it. Most pro bodybuilders, when they give up squatting, they advance their leg development.
Really
I didn't
interesting.
grow legs whatsoever until I stopped squatting entirely.
Shit, I just realized that's true because I gave up squatting last year, started doing your program, Paul, and you've seen the
Yep.
progress pictures. And it's
Yeah, your
like,
legs.
whoop.
Yeah, your legs have
I haven't
disproportionately grown.
Yeah,
I haven't squatted in 7 years.
Yep.
I hadn't even thought about that.
And I'm not saying that they're wrong for everybody, but I'd say in a lot of instances they are a shitty quad exercise. I think if you're a beginner lifter, sure, squat, master that exercise pattern, get strong, and then move on, graduate. There comes a point where you need to graduate to more detailed work and specific work.
Yeah, if you're at a point where you're worried about something like the outer sweep of your quads, squat is not it.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Nope.
squat is a really good practical movement for somebody who's deconditioned to quickly, condition a lot of muscle very quickly in a very efficient manner, but not for bodybuilding. I want to make this look good purposes,
All right, guys, I got to wrap this up. Got to go pick up my kids before we're going to have another snowstorm here in Washington, D.C. It's been a shit winter.
Whew.
Fuck winter. I'm over it.
Yeah, for real.
All right, guys. We appreciate each and every one of you. We'll see you next.